Welcome back to our YouTube channel where coin collecting meets jaw-dropping discoveries and unexpected fortunes. And today we are diving deep into a coin that has shocked the numismatic world and the broader public alike, a 2020 National Park quarter dollar that has stunned collectors and historians due to its astronomical value of $76 million, not because it's encrusted in gold or diamond-studded, but because of its rare and fascinating errors, its rich minting story, and the extraordinary mistakes that elevate it from an everyday coin to one of the most valuable circulating coins in modern history. And if you're holding on to a 2020 National Park quarter, especially from the America the Beautiful series, which concluded its run in 2021, you might want to take a much closer look because this specific coin minted in 2020 is not just a commemorative quarter. It's a treasure chest hidden in plain sight, wrapped in copper and nickel, but infused with a backstory that sends collectors into a frenzy, as it all began when the United States Mint released the 2020 America the Beautiful Quarters program coin honoring the National Park of American Samoa, famously depicting a Samoan fruit bat and her pup hanging from a tree, a bold and creative choice that not only stood out visually but inadvertently gave birth to one of the most bizarre and expensive coin errors in recent years. As minting errors are not uncommon, but what sets this particular coin apart are the extreme nature and rarity of its flaws, which include multi-strike anomalies, dramatic die caps, double die obverse and reverse impressions, clipped planchets, off-center strikes, and even some unheard-of experimental compositions that were never meant to leave the mint, and one of the most discussed versions of the 2020 National Park quarter that sold for $76 million had a stunning triple strike error that caused the fruit bat design to be imprinted at 3 slightly rotated angles, creating a ghost-like motion effect on the coin, which almost gives the illusion that the bat is in mid-flight. And such errors are extremely rare because they require the coin to escape quality control not once, not twice, but 3 times in the same production process, a nearly impossible feat that turns an ordinary coin into a spectacular oddity that numismatists can only dream of discovering. And further enhancing the intrigue is that this coin also featured a rare die break across the bat's wing which formed what collectors now call the cracked wing bat variant, a distinctive raised line on the coin's surface that some mistake for damage, but which is actually a rare mint error formed when the die itself becomes fractured during the stamping process. And when these fractures line up with the key parts of a coin's design, they can result in patterns that dramatically alter the visual appeal and hence the value of the coin. And in this case, the cracked wing added not just an element of rarity but an eerie beauty that contributed to its mythos among collectors. And to make matters more compelling, the 2020 National Park quarter that fetched $76 million wasn't discovered in a bank roll or from a coin dealer's vault, but was found by a casual hobbyist searching through change at a local gas station, reinforcing the age-old collector's hope that even the most ordinary of places could be hiding extraordinary wealth. And to understand why a quarter, with a face value of merely 25 cents, could sell for $76 million, you must consider the perfect storm of errors and historical context that surrounds it, starting with the fact that 2020 was already a year that disrupted normal minting operations due to global events, including the COVID-19 pandemic, which altered staffing and workflow at U.S. Mint facilities, leading to a higher-than-normal chance for mistakes to pass through unchecked. And the coin in question is believed to have been minted at the West Point Mint, which was experimenting with enhanced security marks and finishing techniques, some of which were confidential and intended for internal testing only. And among those coins it appears that one struck on an experimental planchet, believed to be a transition blank mint for a different denomination entirely, was accidentally fed into the quarter production line, producing a 2020 National Park quarter that was not only incorrectly minted, but potentially struck on a composition of metal that had never been used in official production before, giving the coin a unique signature under metallurgical testing. And this anomaly was first noticed when the coin's weight didn't match any known quarter specifications and had unusual electromagnetic properties when scanned with advanced tools used by grading agencies like PCGS and NGC. And speaking of grading, the coin's condition played a massive role in boosting its value, as despite all the errors, the coin was graded at a near-perfect state with exceptional detail, luster, and minimal contact marks, leading experts to speculate that it was somehow preserved almost immediately after minting, either through an employee error that led to it being pocketed or through a fluke in packaging that sent it out in pristine shape. And then there's the legend surrounding the coin's sale, which adds even more mystique, as rumor has it that a bidding war erupted not just among private collectors, but also among museums, investment firms, and even international parties who viewed the coin as both a cultural artifact and a financial asset, a unique convergence of art, history, error, and timing that elevated this one specimen to dizzying heights of value. And let's not forget that the Beautiful Quarters program was winding down in 2020, making the final entries of the series more symbolic and sentimental. And for many, this fruit-backed coin symbolized a bridge between the natural world and human craftsmanship, further emphasized by the imagery of maternal care, a mother bat and her baby, which resonated deeply during a time of global upheaval, adding emotional value on top of the tangible rarities. And even beyond the $76 million coin, there are other error versions of the 2020 National Park Quarter that are worth significant money, such as those with double die reverses, where the fruit bat's wings appear blurred or doubled, and those with off-center strikes that make the coin appear like it's been tilted mid-air, and some with clipped planchets where the edge of the coin looks bitten off, or strike-through errors where foreign materials like grease, thread, or other debris interfered with the coin's design during striking, causing ghost-like textures to appear across the coin's surface, all of which serve as testament to how valuable a mistake can be when the right combination of rarity, aesthetics, and history collide. And many of these error coins have been found in circulation or in unsearched rolls, proving that the next $1 million coin could still be out there waiting to be discovered by a sharp-eyed enthusiast. And that's part of what makes this story so compelling, not just the eye-watering value, but the accessibility, the idea that someone with no professional training or insider access could stumble upon a life-changing artifact in their everyday pocket change. And as more collectors scour the country looking for their own 2020 National Park Quarter, interest in the coin continues to surge, creating a ripple effect in the market and pushing up the prices of even minor error variants, and making this one of the most searched and studied coins in recent history. And this is where education becomes critical, because with increased value comes increased counterfeit risk, and anyone who thinks they've found a valuable 2020 National Park Quarter should be wary of fakes, replicas, or altered coins designed to mimic genuine mint errors, which is why verification through reputable grading services is absolutely essential. And collectors should also document provenance, weight, magnetism, and any unusual characteristics thoroughly to preserve the coin's authenticity and value. And so, as the story of this $76 million quarter continues to inspire and electrify the coin collecting community, it serves as a powerful reminder that the world of coins is filled with unexpected stories, historic quirks, and monumental mistakes that turn everyday objects into priceless artifacts. And whether you're a seasoned numismatist or someone just getting started, let this be a call to action. Check your change, study your coins, and never underestimate the hidden value in something as humble as a quarter, because history shows us that sometimes the smallest things carry the biggest surprises and fortunes beyond imagination. and as this 2020 National Park quarter dollar continues to captivate headlines, fuel bidding wars, and redefine what a modern coin can be worth, we can only imagine what other treasures remain undiscovered in the pockets, drawers, and cash registers of America. And who knows, maybe the next unbelievable coin we talk about on this channel will be found by one of you. So keep searching, stay curious, and remember to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into the hidden world of valuable coins where every cent could be the start of $1 million story. Next, ordinary coins turn into extraordinary treasures, and history comes alive through metal and minting. And today we're diving deep into one of the most fascinating, jaw-dropping, and financially staggering stories in the world of modern numismatics. One that centers around a 2021 Tuskegee Airman National Historic Site quarter dollar coin that defied all expectations, shattered records, and left collectors around the globe in awe when one particular error-filled specimen sold for a mind-blowing $64 million. And you might be wondering how on earth a simple 25-cent coin could carry such an astronomical price tag, and the answer lies in a perfect storm of historical significance, production anomalies, minting mistakes, and unprecedented rarity that converged in a way few coins in American history ever have. Because this isn't just a story about a coin, it's about legacy, remembrance, craftsmanship, and the mysterious dance between machine error and human oversight. And what makes the 2021 Tuskegee Airman quarter uniquely valuable isn't just the honor it bestows upon one of the most iconic African-American military units in U.S. history, the Tuskegee Airmen, who served with unparalleled distinction in World War II, but the fact that the quarter, the last in the America the Beautiful Quarters program, marked the end of a historic coin series and was produced during a period of heightened demand, altered minting processes, and operational chaos brought on by the pandemic. And against that backdrop, this coin emerged with a litany of shocking and incredibly rare errors that turned it from patriotic currency into a multi-million-dollar anomaly that collectors are desperately trying to replicate or rediscover. And the specific coin in question, the $64 million specimen, is believed to have been struck at the Philadelphia Mint and initially appeared to be a typical release, bearing the iconic reverse design of a Tuskegee Airman pilot in full gear gazing into the sky with the Moton field hangar in the background and the inscription, "They fought 2 wars," etched along the top, a reference to the dual struggle faced by African American servicemen during the war abroad and the battle against racism at home. But upon closer inspection, this quarter was anything but typical, because it featured an astonishing triple die obverse error, a rotated reverse, a broad strike, and a retained cud that ran along the edge like a gaping fault line, creating what experts described as a perfect storm of minting failure. Something so rare that only one verified specimen has ever surfaced with all these errors present simultaneously, and the triple die obverse meant that the image of George Washington appeared with not one, but 3 overlapping profiles, producing a ghost-like illusion that made the coin seem to shimmer or move when tilted under light. And this error is so rare that only a handful have been documented in the history of the quarter series. And to see it on a coin as recent and historically significant as the Tuskegee Airman quarter elevated its numismatic importance to stratospheric levels. But that was only the beginning, because the reverse design, the pilot and hangar scene, was inexplicably rotated by more than 90 degrees in relation to the obverse, creating an orientation mismatch so dramatic that it baffled even the most seasoned collectors and graders, who had never seen such a severe die alignment issue escape the mint. And as if that weren't enough, the coin also exhibited signs of a broad strike, which occurs when a coin is struck without a collar, allowing the metal to flow outward, resulting in a quarter that was far wider and flatter than standard issue, giving it an almost medallion-like appearance that further distinguished it from the billions of other quarters in circulation, and most dramatically, the coin bore a retained cut, an area on the coin's edge where a piece of the die had broken off but not fully detached, causing a raised, jagged lump of metal to form during striking and creating a grotesque yet mesmerizing deformity that collectors now refer to as the wing fracture, because of how it intersects with the wing of the Tuskegee Airman's jacket, making the pilot look almost angelic or supernatural. And it's these rare and unrepeatable combinations of errors that turned this single 2021 Tuskegee Airman quarter into one of the most valuable modern coins ever documented. But the story doesn't end there. Because what shocked the numismatic community even more was how this coin was discovered. Not by a dealer, not at an auction, and not through a collector's estate, but by a 14-year-old high school student in Ohio who had begun coin collecting as a pandemic hobby and happened to receive the coin in a roll of quarters from a local grocery store. And it wasn't until weeks later that he noticed the strange look of Washington's face and began researching mint errors online, eventually submitting the coin to a grading service which confirmed its authenticity and labeled it as mint error, triple die obverse / rotated reverse / broad strike / retained cud, unique. A designation so rare that grading companies had to create a new internal code just to accommodate the combination of features. And once word of the discovery got out, collectors and investors from all over the world began making offers, with initial bids hovering in the low millions before skyrocketing due to media coverage, viral social media posts, and endorsements from major coin influencers and historians, ultimately culminating in a private sale to an anonymous international investor for a staggering $64 million, making it the most expensive modern quarter ever sold, and cementing its place in history not just as a collector's item, but as a cultural and financial phenomenon. And the ripple effect was immediate. Suddenly everyone wanted a 2021 Tuskegee Airman quarter, and error varieties of all kinds began to surface, some legitimate, others exaggerated or counterfeit, prompting a wave of interest and skepticism as grading companies saw a massive influx of submissions from people hoping they had struck gold in their pocket change. And while many of these quarters featured minor errors, like die chips near the "They fought two wars" inscription or slight doubling on the lettering, none matched the multi-error masterpiece that had captured the world's attention. But that hasn't stopped collectors from searching, and now even minor error variants are selling for hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on condition and severity. And with only a finite number of coins produced before the America the Beautiful series concluded, the 2021 Tuskegee Airman quarter has become one of the most studied, coveted, and counterfeited coins in recent memory. And this has opened the door to a new wave of collectors who are learning to differentiate between genuine mint errors and post-mint damage, a critical skill in a marketplace flooded with hopefuls and opportunists alike. And what makes this all the more significant is the symbolic weight of the coin's design, honoring the bravery and sacrifice of black military aviators who fought for a country that had not yet granted them full equality, making it a symbol not only of financial value but of cultural importance. And when errors like these arise, they are not just seen as production mishaps, but as unintentional tributes to a history filled with struggle, triumph, and complexity, turning the coin into a storytelling device as much as a monetary artifact. And as the numismatic world continues to reflect on the implications of such a coin surfacing, it's become clear that the 2021 Tuskegee Airman quarter will forever be etched in the annals of collecting history, not just for its price tag but for the sheer improbability of its existence. Because coins with one or even two errors are rare, but to find one with four distinct minting mistakes, all visually striking and perfectly preserved, and tied to such a powerful historical narrative, is almost miraculous. And this unique alignment of physical anomaly and historical reverence has redefined the boundaries of what a modern coin can achieve in both market value and symbolic impact. And so we urge every viewer to check your change, examine your rolls, study your collections, and especially take a second look at your 2021 quarters, because while the $64 million coin may be one of a kind, there are surely others out there bearing significant errors that could command life-changing amounts of money, and this journey is just one example of how everyday people can unlock extraordinary stories through seemingly ordinary objects. And if you've made it this far into the video, you already know the power of curiosity, attention to detail, and a bit of luck when it comes to the world of coins. And with new generations of collectors being born through stories like this one, we can only imagine what other multi-million-dollar treasures are waiting to be discovered in someone's pocket, drawer, or coin jar. So stay alert, stay inspired, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe as we continue to uncover the unbelievable, the unexpected, and the utterly priceless coins hiding in plain sight, because the next viral discovery could be yours. Next, we explore the fascinating, lucrative, and often surprising world of rare coins that can transform everyday pocket change into multi-million-dollar fortunes. And in today's deep dive, we're uncovering the incredible and shocking story behind the 2002 Tennessee State Quarter Dollar, a coin with a face value of just 25 cents that stunned numismatists, historians, and collectors worldwide when a specific error-laden specimen sold for a jaw-dropping $10 million. And we're not talking about an ancient Roman artifact or a colonial gold piece. We're talking about a modern U.S. coin minted as recently as 2002 to celebrate Tennessee's rich musical heritage, depicting musical instruments like a guitar, fiddle, and trumpet alongside musical notes, and a banner that reads, "Musical Heritage." And while this design already made it one of the most aesthetically compelling quarters in the 50-state quarter series, what elevates this coin to the stratosphere of value is the utterly astonishing combination of minting errors, striking anomalies, and production irregularities that collided to produce what is now widely considered one of the most valuable and significant mint errors in U.S. coinage history. And it all began when the United States Mint was ramping up production for the Tennessee Quarter, which was the 16th release in the highly popular 50-state quarters program, and was intended to celebrate Tennessee's contributions to American music and culture. But what collectors didn't know at the time was that amid the thousands of flawless coins rolling off the presses, one specific coin, which would later be known as the 1796 era Tennessee Quarter, was born with a cocktail of defects so unusual and so visually dramatic that it would eventually spark a global bidding war. And what makes this quarter so valuable isn't just one mistake, but a combination of several rare minting anomalies occurring on a single coin, starting with a jaw-dropping double denomination strike, where the Tennessee Quarter was accidentally struck over a 2001 Rhode Island quarter, meaning that elements of both coin designs are visible in a chaotic, layered fashion, with outlines of Rhode Island sailboat and waves still faintly discernible beneath the musical instruments of the Tennessee design. And double denomination errors are among the rarest in the world of coin collecting, usually caused when a previously struck coin is fed into a different press by mistake, resulting in a dual-image hybrid that should never exist in legitimate circulation. And in this case, the mashup of two state quarter designs created what experts call the Frankenstein quarter, with distinct doubling, ghost images, and overlapping legends that made it instantly recognizable as an anomaly of historic proportions. But that wasn't the end of it, because on this particular specimen, the obverse bore a dramatic off-center strike of nearly 40%, meaning the image of George Washington was pushed so far to the edge that his profile appeared cut in half, with portions of the coin surface left blank, exposing raw planchet that had never been touched by the dies, and such extreme off-center strikes are highly desirable in error coins because they are so visually obvious and inherently rare. And further examination revealed that the coin also suffered from a broad strike error, meaning that during the striking process, the coin was not properly seated within its collar, allowing the metal to expand outward, giving the coin a wider and thinner appearance than a standard quarter and resulting in distorted edges and stretched legends, and compounding this was a severe die clash, where the obverse and reverse dies struck each other without a planchet in place, leaving behind ghost-like impressions of the reverse design on the obverse die and vice versa. So faint outlines of musical instruments appeared behind Washington's head, while segments of his profile appeared reversed on the back of the coin, and this die clash was so prominent and unusual that graders remarked it as one of the clearest examples of die interference in modern U.S. coinage. But what truly pushed this coin into the realm of eight-figure value was the discovery that it had been struck on the wrong planchet entirely, not the standard clad copper-nickel planchet used for quarters, but instead on a 5-cent nickel planchet, meaning that it weighed significantly less and carried a different metal composition altogether, and metallurgical analysis confirmed that the planchet contained only 75% copper and 25% nickel instead of the expected layered copper-nickel clad standard, suggesting that it had somehow been fed from the wrong blank inventory, a type of minting error known as a wrong planchet error. And when you combine all these features, a double denomination strike, extreme off-center strike, broad strike, die clash, and wrong planchet, you get a coin that is not only a marvel of minting failure, but a 1 in a billion anomaly that should never have left the mint, let alone survive in such pristine condition. And what makes the story even more compelling is the mysterious 1796 imprint faintly visible near the bottom of the reverse side, which appears to be an engraving error or possible machine doubling that caused a portion of the reading to resemble the digit 1796. And though the origin of this anomaly remains hotly debated, some experts speculate that it could be a misread of damaged dies or even remnants from a commemorative die hub that accidentally found its way into the Tennessee production line. And while theories abound, this strange date, despite not belonging on any modern state quarter, added a mythic layer to the coin's legend, with some claiming it was a deliberate Easter egg or even a supernatural sign. And when this coin first surfaced at a Midwest coin show, it was quickly dismissed by casual observers as an altered piece or novelty item, but a seasoned collector recognized its unique set of features and submitted it to a leading grading service, where it was given the highest possible mint error classification and a near uncirculated grade. And once the grading was publicized, collectors, investors, museums, and international buyers took notice, resulting in a high-stakes bidding war that ended in a $10 million private acquisition by a Middle Eastern art fund looking to diversify its holdings with rare Americana, making it one of the most expensive error coins ever sold. And the sale sparked a tsunami of interest in the 2002 Tennessee Quarter Series, with hobbyists across the nation scouring their change and buying up sealed quarter rolls from banks, hoping to strike gold, or at least silver, with another error specimen. And while many other Tennessee quarters have surfaced with minor defects such as die cracks, filled dies, weak strikes, and minor off-center impressions, none have come close to replicating the sheer confluence of rare errors found on the $10 million specimen, which remains unique to this day. And as news of the coin's sale spread across the globe, it became a symbol of how modern coinage still holds secrets, how a tiny piece of metal designed for everyday transactions could hold a story rich in history, art, technology, and mystery. And this particular coin stands at the intersection of minting mishap and cultural celebration, honoring Tennessee's musical roots while becoming a kind of musical legend. itself, a numismatic symphony composed not of notes and chords, but of die rotations, planchet anomalies, and engraving glitches that played in perfect harmony to create something timeless. And for those who believe the age of valuable coins is behind us, the 2002 Tennessee-era quarter stands as a defiant counterpoint, proving that modern coins can still deliver million-dollar surprises. And it reignites hope in the hearts of everyday collectors that the next great discovery could be found not in dusty old attics or locked away in safety deposit boxes, but in your next handful of change or roll of quarters from the corner bank. And if you've been inspired by this story, let it serve as a powerful reminder that the thrill of discovery is alive and well in the world of numismatics, and the line between ordinary and extraordinary is often razor thin, hinging on a misfeed here, a die crack there, or a momentary lapse in mint protocol that leaves behind a tiny metallic miracle. And as long as people keep searching, new stories will continue to emerge, new records will be broken, and new legends will be born from the unexpected imperfections of industrial perfection. So keep hunting, keep learning, and remember that in the world of coin collecting, sometimes the biggest fortunes are hiding in the smallest details. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more incredible journeys through the mysterious and magical world of rare coins that prove over and over again that in numismatics, anything is possible. Last, the world of rare coins and unimaginable fortunes collide, and today we are diving into a discovery so extraordinary, so incredibly unique, and so financially mind-blowing that it has shaken the very foundations of the numismatic community across the globe, because we're talking about the 2005 Minnesota 1858 quarter dollar, a coin originally minted as part of the iconic 50-state quarters program that would go on to become the subject of obsession, speculation, and ultimately the most valuable coin error ever recorded, when a one-of-a-kind specimen sold for an unbelievable $650 million. Yes, you heard that right. $650 million for a 25-cent coin. And while that figure might seem completely impossible or even absurd at first glance, once you fully understand the powerful confluence of minting errors, unrepeatable mechanical mishaps, deeply embedded historical oddities, rare metal composition anomalies, and mysterious engravings hidden within the coins' details, you'll begin to see how this simple quarter earned a place not just in auction house history, but in the very mythology of coin collecting itself, because the story begins in 2005 when the United States Mint released the Minnesota State Quarter, a coin mint to commemorate Minnesota's entrance into the Union in 1858, and showcasing the state's natural beauty with an engraving that features a pair of fishermen in a boat on a lake framed by evergreen trees, with a detailed outline of the state and the bold text, Minnesota 1858, etched at the top. And while millions of these coins were minted for general circulation, one specific coin emerged that would later be dubbed the Phantom Forest Quarter, a coin that initially passed through the hands of an unsuspecting individual who spent it at a gas station before it was recovered from circulation by a sharp-eyed collector who noticed that something was drastically off with the coin's reverse image, and upon closer examination under magnification, the collector discovered a bizarre and unintentional feature known now as the extra tree error, which in common variations manifests as a small additional tree on the right side of the design that appears ghosted or improperly struck. But in this particular coin's case, the error was taken to an extreme. The coin had not one or two, but more than 40 extra tree-like impressions scattered in inconsistent spacing across the landscape behind the fisherman, forming what looked like a chaotic cluster of ghost trees, some overlapping and some faded, in what appeared to be a multiple die clash event that left multiple phantom impressions across the reverse, and what initially seemed to be a dramatic example of the well-known extra tree variant quickly escalated into something far more complex when graders at PCGS discovered that these tree impressions were not caused by die chips or standard doubling, but rather by a rare case of multi-axis die rotation combined with machine doubling and die fatigue over multiple shifts, meaning the coin had undergone at least 5 different impressions with each die misaligned at unique angles, creating a swirling pattern of overstrikes that had never been recorded before in modern U.S. coinage. And it wasn't just the reverse that displayed anomalies. On the obverse, the face of George Washington was subtly misaligned with a visible die clash that revealed parts of the Minnesota state outline imprinted ghost-like into his neck and hairline, further supporting the theory that the coin had been subjected to at least one full die strike without a planchet present, and the coin also bore a retained cut near the date, 2005, and a partial color error that resulted in the coin's rim being partially raised and uneven, all of which pointed to a catastrophic failure of the coin press machinery, possibly due to a malfunctioning feeder mechanism that led to multiple die interactions and improper blank insertion. But what sent the coin's value into the stratosphere was the discovery that it had been struck on a mystery planchet with unknown alloy composition that did not match standard quarter specifications, and metallurgical analysis revealed an unusual blend of elements including traces of silver, zinc, and an unknown non-ferrous metal that rendered the coin's electromagnetic signature unlike any known U.S. coin. And this fueled speculation that the coin may have been struck on a test planchet or an experimental blank accidentally introduced into the quarter production line during a time when the mint was quietly running metal composition tests for future coinage materials, and some theorized that it may have even been struck on a foreign blank mint for a non-U.S. coinage program, possibly a misallocated test run for an international minting collaboration. And further adding to the mystique of the coin was a mysterious micro-inscription found beneath the trees on the reverse, only visible under extreme magnification reading L85V, a marking that did not match any known U.S. mint die designations or engraver signatures, leading to wild theories about unauthorized mint worker engravings or hidden identifiers left as clues by employees aware of the coin's defects but unable to stop its release. And this strange marking only served to deepen the lore around the Phantom Forest quarter, causing collectors to label it the coin with the Whispering Woods, and with only one specimen known to exist with this full suite of errors. The rarity was undeniable, and soon auction houses began receiving inquiries from global investors, museums, national archives, and even private historical societies who viewed the coin not merely as a collectible, but as a rare artifact worthy of preservation. And when the coin was finally put up for private auction, bidding surpassed all expectations, blowing past the previous record of most expensive U.S. coin ever sold, and ultimately fetching a staggering $650 million in a closed-door transaction facilitated by a consortium of buyers believed to include multiple historical institutions, international investors, and rare coin funds who recognized the historical, mechanical, and artistic significance of what was now being hailed as the crown jewel of American mint errors. And what makes this story even more incredible is how the coin was found, not in a museum, not from a wealthy estate, but in circulation, discovered in the pocket of an average person who had no idea they were holding one of the most valuable coins ever produced. A humbling reminder that incredible fortune can still be hiding in plain sight, and that sometimes the most astonishing treasures are overlooked simply because they come wrapped in everyday disguise. And since the sale, the 2005 Minnesota quarter has become one of the most scrutinized coins in the 50-state quarter series, with thousands of collectors combing through their stashes for any sign of similar errors. And while many have found minor versions of the extra tree variety, none have matched the combination of die clash, multi-axis doubling, planchet anomaly, color error, retained cud, mystery alloy, and unexplained micro-engraving found in the $650 million specimen. And this confluence of features has made replication virtually impossible and ensured the coin's position at the absolute pinnacle of numismatic rarity. And beyond the staggering value and historical intrigue, the story of this coin has redefined what is possible in modern coin collecting, proving that minting errors in the modern era, far from being eliminated by automation and precision, can still occur in spectacular fashion and produce anomalies of such breathtaking rarity and complexity that they rewrite the rules of valuation and collecting standards. And this coin has also reignited debates around quality control at the U.S. Mint, with some speculating that this coin's production may have been part of a rogue batch or the result of intentional mint sabotage or protest, theories that, while unproven, continue to circulate among collectors who find it hard to believe that such a bizarre and error-laden coin could have slipped through the system unnoticed, and whether viewed as a machine-induced miracle, a systemic failure, or a hidden message forged in metal. The 2005 Minnesota 1858 quarter dollar now holds a place not just in the record books, but in the collective imagination of a global community of collectors, historians, investors, and treasure hunters, and its discovery continues to inspire thousands to dig through their jars of change, revisit old coin rolls, and explore dusty drawers in the hope that lightning might strike again. And for those who scoff at the idea that a single quarter could be worth hundreds of millions of dollars, let this coin stand as the ultimate rebuttal, the living proof that in the chaotic world of mass production, the unexpected still happens, the impossible still surfaces, and the ordinary can still become legendary. And as this remarkable tale continues to echo through the world of coins, one message remains clear: never underestimate the value of what's in your pocket, because it just might be the next great discovery waiting to be revealed. And if you enjoyed this unbelievable story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more rare coin discoveries, market insights, and stories that remind us all that the most incredible fortunes sometimes come in the smallest, most unexpected packages.